Viper is smart, perceptive, chronically misunderstood.
Across from her, 2 meters and 20 stone of muscle and unresolved Oedipal renewal. The attendant resembled nothing less than several Polish kielbasas mashed together and forced to don hospital scrubs. The most cursory of assessments by any measure of the imagination would easily conclude that this man could almost certainly crust Viper's skull with the ease of a child popping a cherry tomato. Though, between the constellation of a burst blood vessels around his eyes and jowls, or the faint but unmistakably corrodic odor of his breath, most of which emanated from his mouth, of course Viper estimated that the man's predisposition for cinnamon, schnapps, and lard braised pork shoulder would send him to an early grave within a year. And only then did Viper remind herself that in fact she did pose a threat, at least on paper, and at least according to the professionals so appointed by the court. Indeed, if one were to place any stock in the opinions of the team of criminal psychologists and mental health experts hand-selected by the Macon County District Attorney's Office, not only was Viper clinically insane, but she posed a grave threat to society. Escape was her only option. Viper was an admirer of the master escapologist Harry Houdini and also watched the Steve McQueen classic The Great Escape on at least a dozen occasions. It was only one of the 3 films that her uncle Julius kept in his personal 35mm collection. He had a screening room in his Hollywood Hills mansion. It was rumored that the decrepit pile had once belonged to Elsa Lancaster, the original bride of Frankenstein. The house was modeled after the Alhambra, entailed with purple-hued bougainvillea and boisted, inevitable jetliner views of the City of Angels. Viper was not a fan of Los Angeles or any West Coast city for that matter, but she did love her uncle and would sit for hours listening to his stories of the golden age of Hollywood.